Joining us now is Francisca Bastos, who literally just got off of a plane from Brazil to be here with us. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me here today.
Of course. And also, you know, I've been wearing your jewelry, and everyone here has been always asking me, where do you get your jewelry? Where do you get your jewelry? So I'm so excited to have you here in person. So thank you
very much.
So tell us a little bit about your jewelry line.
Well, my jewelry line is a contemporary jewelry with especially Brazilian stones. Everything is handmade, 18-karat gold, in my atelier in Rio. And I have 6 people working for me. I design and they make it.
Wow. So where do you get some of your inspiration behind your designs from?
Well, I am very lucky because I have beautiful stones in Brazil. I receive the stones and then I design with the stones on the table, and you know, we have a very beautiful environment in Rio, so it's inspiration everywhere.
Now you're traveling between Miami and Brazil quite a bit now that you've brought your line here. Do you think that you take some of that away with you, being in the United States to Brazil, to when you do your designs?
Yes, I do, especially because Rio and Miami had the same light, the same sunshine, and I think because of that, I think that jewelry works very well here.
And you were telling me earlier a little bit about how Miami and Brazil are actually sister cities? Yes,
they are sister cities, and because of the identification they have in the two cities, the beach, the sunshine, the way the people behave, they like to be in the outside, and I think this is why they made the two cities sister cities, and that's why I think the jewelry and the wear and everything, they work for Brazil and for Miami.
We actually have some images of your jewelry people will be seeing. So, you know, tell me a little bit about how you choose the settings, because they're so unique. I noticed that a lot of them have, you know, a larger setting, and the stone really stands out.
I am very lucky because people come to my atelier with different stones, and so when I see the different stones, I try to create something for them. And then you can have a ring, you can have a necklace, you can have an earring or something like that.
So you take one design and you can make it into anything that you could want to wear.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So can we look forward to a specific style coming up soon?
Well, you know, now you have black, white, and blue and yellow coming in the dresses. And I look very much what people are going to wear, and then I try to find stones that match.
Okay.
And then after that, I create.
Now, how do you, it's interesting to me because you say a lot about the stones, how do you find those stones?
You know, in Brazil we have most of the beautiful stones in the world, and people come from the mines to Rio and São Paulo, and they look for people who work with stones, and they show you the stones. So I don't have to go there; they come to us, and they are beautiful, and you have only to choose the stone and make your jewelry.
I need to make it to Brazil and take a look at
Yes, you should go.
And so how long have you been in the jewelry industry?
Well, I started 25 years ago.
Wow.
The first ring I designed, I was 15. It was for my 15th birthday.
Wow.
And then I studied architecture. And one day I decided I wanted to be a jewelry designer. And I started 25 years ago in a very small place, and then it went and went, and now I'm here.
Yay, well, we're glad to have you. And do you think that because you were in architecture, that goes into
helped me a lot.
Yeah, you think so?
You can imagine the whole thing's done already when you have a stone in your hand.
That's true. I look at a lot of your pieces and I see, you know, the way that they're designed. I can definitely see architecture.
Yes, that is.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, tell everyone where they can find your jewelry.
In Bal Harbor, I have a showroom in Bal Harbor.
Bal Harbor.
I think in 2 or 3 weeks we are going to have the new collection in the website.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we're going to be sitting down with Arto Connecto, but first we're taking a trip to Vail. Check it out.
Kayaking is a really unique sport in that it's done on a fluid medium. Your course or your field is constantly moving below you, and it becomes a really unique relationship between you and the river, and trying to harness the energy of the river, which is really powerful. It's more of a relationship than anything. And if you use it right, if you work with the river, you can be the most powerful person on earth. But the second that you start trying to fight the river, or you get out of sync with that relationship, it gets pretty ugly, and you realize how weak you are out there. My parents bought my first kayak for me when I was 9 years old. It was a really bumpy, sort of rocky road for me the first few years of my kayaking career. When I was 12, I actually kind of quit kayaking because it just frightened me so much, and I didn't have much fun when I was doing it. And then my sister was much better than me at it. She kept going, and everyone's giving her all the attention, and that was enough to will me back into a kayak. And then after I graduated high school, I applied for college, and I was accepted, which made my dad really happy. And I took that year off and just went around the world. And it was at the end of that I met up with my parents, and you know, my dad was so excited because he kind of goes, "Oh, you got it out of your system, you can go to college now." And that was then that I told my dad that I was going to try and be a professional kayaker, and I haven't really looked back since. I landed here in the Vail Valley because when I was about 18, I was working on a business plan to create a foundation for young adults with cancer, and the Vail Valley offered to host it for free. The program is called First Descents, and it started as a kayak camp for young adults with cancer, and now it's become more outdoor adventure program. So we do kayaking and mountaineering. We're all over the country. We're going to be in 5 states this summer. We'll have 9 weeks of programming and 140 participants. So it's from something that started with 15 participants one summer here in the Vail Valley, we've grown considerably. It's pretty exciting. When you're kayaking something, you know, be it an extreme race or a really hard rapid, when you get to that level, the margin for error just becomes so small, you just can't screw up. And the slightest mistake can lead to the biggest problem. So it's a really cool sense of just focus when you're in those positions or situations, when you're in the middle of the rapid or the middle of an extreme race, where everything is tuned out. Your whole universe is narrowed down to the next paddle stroke. Everything's right there in front of you, and that's every ounce of energy you have is focused on that. So you don't hear anything else, you don't feel anything else, you don't see anything else. And then once you get to the bottom, and it's sort of like reality kind of flushes back in, and you sort of realize that you're in a different place for a while. It's kind of like meditating. My favorite days in my kayak are the ones on a river in the middle of nowhere with my good friends and my family. That's, you know, it doesn't have to be scary or hard, or it just has to be a fun day with people I care about. That's kayaking to me. As crazy as it may seem or look, it really is pretty gentle and pretty easy and pretty therapeutic. And so I always try and encourage people to just get in at whatever level they're comfortable, be it on a lake or on class 1, 2, slow-moving water, and just go out and enjoy it. And stay in that comfort zone as you progress. Don't push it too hard, because it just takes one scary experience for people to really quit kayaking. So it's not intimidating, it's not expensive, and it's not hard to get into. And it just, like I said, provides such an amazing opportunity to be outside in the summer.